Hi everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. If you've been to my channel before, I'm so glad you stopped back in. If you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping in and seeing what we do here. And I would invite all of you to please like, subscribe, and share this video on your social media streams. Also, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Today, we're talking about the birthday and anniversary cards that I need for the month of March. One of them is going to be late. It'll go to my sister-in-law, who her birthday is on Friday, and I probably won't get them mailed till Friday because I don't think I'm leaving the house till Friday. So we'll see what happens. So when I needed to get these cards done this morning and get this video ready to go, I knew I needed something quick. So I went to Call Me Crafty Al here on YouTube. Alicia has for several years done what she calls her sheet load of cards, and this is her own design. She puts the sketch together. She gives you the dimensions. She even gives you the cutting diagram. And to get the PDF, all you have to do is watch her video for that month, and then she will give you access to the PDF, and you can print it out and just go to town making all kinds of cards. So I pulled up her March one because as soon as I saw March, I knew that this is what I wanted. I wanted this circle here because since I had ornate style still out on my work table, I wanted to work with this single daisy. So this fit just perfect. For the little outside piece here, I went with my July 2017 paper pumpkin stamp set that says "It's Your Day." And that it worked perfect for me. So I went through and I picked my cardstock. Since I was working with ornate style, I thought I'd use the Ornate Garden paper pack. And you'll see in this binder, this is how I keep a catalog of all of my designer series papers. So that I can go through and look and see what I've got to work with. And here's my Ornate Garden, and I don't know if I can get it all in the shot. Pretty darn close. This was a paper pack that was in our spring all occasions, or spring catalog last year. And you can see that I've got it set up to where I can see what the front, one side, and each side of that sheet looks like. And I know what I want to work with. So I went with the daisies and this sheet so that I could pair these two up. Because as you know, most anything in one single paper pad or collection is all going to pair together. So here's what I came up with. As I said, I wanted to use the daisy. I used let's start with, these are the papers that I used, and then I went the opposite direction. They are mounted on, I want to say garden green, but I don't think it's garden green. No, granny apple green is the one I used. I thought Old Olive would just be a little bit too dark. In the paper pads from Stampin' Up, they tell you what colors of their cardstocks will work best with the colors in the designer series paper. I didn't want to use the Old Olive. I wanted a little more brightness to it, so I used Granny Apple Green. I did use their suggested Bumblebee, and then I just chose what I wanted to color everything else with. The leaves are colored with Old Olive, light and dark. And then on the inside, I used my 32-pound paper that I always use for my liner on the inside, and I stamped this flower is also from the Ornate Garden. And so I colored that in, and now I can either just leave this plain and write a note, or I can stamp Happy Birthday in here. I haven't decided what I'm going to do just yet. But I do have the It's Your Day out here on the flag on the outside. For this, I used my Stampin' Up! Circles, and I used this one for this circle here for the white, and then the coordinating scallop circle. Now if you'll notice, the one I used for the scallop was the second in this ring. So I go over here, the second in this ring is going to be the inside. I wish I'd have thought to use the 2.5-inch circle from Stitched Framelits, and that would have added a little bit extra texture on this white cardstock. Just, my mind didn't go there till I was sitting there coloring the flowers and thought, no, why didn't I do that? I also used my Martha Stewart lace punch to do the lace border trip there. And as I show them up, I'm putting everything away. Woohoo! So I have 12 of these cards made. I have a couple in this color that I failed to punch a white circle from, because instead of cutting my circles from a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, I used scrap cardstocks that I had. What I'm doing, and I'm going to show this on a blog post later this week, I have a huge box of cards and envelopes. They're all white, both sizes, both A4 and A5. But the A4 card bases are a little too big for the envelope. I mean, we're talking like less than 1/4 of an inch wider than the envelope. So the card bases won't fit in the envelopes anyway. The other thing is I hardly ever do a plain white card base anymore. Everything is done with a colored card base. So I'm going to use the envelopes, probably for journals, and then I'm going to cut the bases apart, the card bases apart, and I cut one side of the line, and it's 4 inches by 5.5, and then the other side of the line, when I cut it down, it comes out to be the 4 1/4 by 5.5. So I've got one side of that card that I can cut up and use for all kinds of stuff, like cutting these circles out, and then I've got the other half, which is this size, which is the perfect if I need a white mat. I guess that one's not it. This one isn't it either. Must have moved it to the side. But they'll be perfect for a white mat. But you can see how much bigger these are, that they're not going to fit in an envelope. So I'm cutting them apart, making use of the bases anyway, and making use of the envelopes. So those are my cards for March sheet load of cards. If you want to see more of what everybody else is working on, just load in the hashtag in this order. Do it in the large, just as it's printed out. So you'll want hashtag capital SUYSM lowercase AR 2021 or hashtag show us your sheet load. Do that on YouTube and on Instagram, and you will get to see what everybody else is playing with. And I have this many ready to go so far, so I'm good for my cards that I need for March. Now, what I want to do in the future, because I don't necessarily like sending everybody the same card, what I'm going to do is when I go through the sheet load of cards and get to where I can set up my cards ahead of time, I will put one in January, one in February, one in March, one in April, one in May, and do that all the way through the 12 months, and then go back and do another sheet load of cards and do the same thing. So that come the end of the year, I will have had all of my cards where they needed to go, made sure everybody is accounted for, and not everybody is getting the same card. And how I've done that is I've taken large gallon Ziploc bags. I used a label from the Paper Studio from their Stickabilities line and put it on white cardstock, put it on the front of the gallon bag with packing tape so that it's nice and sturdy. And then I cut a piece of chipboard, which is usually the backing on a lot of our paper pads from Stampin' Up, or the back of the big desk blotter calendars that you get at Dollar Tree. I had all kinds of the backs left of those. Cut it down to 9 by 10 so that it would fit down in the bag, and that will help keep the bag sturdy. And then I can use these to drop those cards in, and I'll have them. And I'm thinking about going ahead and either just creating a piece of cardstock for the side and punching holes and putting them in a ring binder so they'll stay nice and flat, and I'll have all my cards ready to go when I need them. So that's what I've been up to. Now I'm off to work on edits of To Dream of a Cowboy by June Favor, and it should release about this time next spring in 2022. Traditional publishing is so long. And as soon as I get her edits done, then I can go back to writing A Soldier's Homecoming for Book 2 in my series, Plan to Perfection. I will see you back here on Friday with Finish It Friday and the 5-on-5 cards, which I may go ahead and just do another one of the sheet loads and show you how easy they are to put together. Until then, have fun today and creative blessings.